Glaze is one of the best ways to enhance your ceramic creations. Glaze is not at all like paint. Inside the jar, most glaze colors appear gray or brown, but when these dull colors are painted on a piece of pottery and subjected to the firing process, the glaze ingredients are transformed. Since the color inside the jar does not reflect what color the glaze will be after firing, our glazes are organized in boxes. Each color box contains a chart with a list of the colors that should be in the box. It is your job to return the colors to the proper box so you can find them in the future. Each box has a ring of sample chips. These are the actual glazes fired onto a clay chip. When you find a color you like, turn the chip over and read the numbers or letters on the back. Match the number to the glaze bottle. Check that the numbers on the lid and the number on the bottle match. Prep your work area by covering it with a generous amount of newspaper. You will need a clean and soft brush, a sponge, and a full container of water. Rinse any dust from your pot. Glaze is made from water, silica, flux, and colorants. When they melt together in the kiln, they become a thin coating of glass that spreads evenly over the surface of your project. Sometimes the glaze ingredients settle in the jar and need to be mixed thoroughly with a pottery knife. If you like a glaze, take the time to mix it. Each glaze has its own unique qualities. Take the time to work with each glaze and you will be rewarded with good results. Glaze flows with gravity. As you plan where you will glaze, think about which direction the glaze will flow on your pot when it melts in the kiln. Plan your strokes so more coats of glaze are on the top of the pot and fewer at the bottom edges. The bottom edge of a pot might need one heavy coat, the middle 2 coats, and the top edge should have 2 to 3 coats. In my experience, most students do not use enough glaze and then are disappointed when their pot comes out splotchy. Take your time and use enough coats of glaze. Never put glaze on the bottom of your pot. If you glaze the bottom, it will stick to the kiln shelf when the glaze melts. I will not fire your work if it has even one drop of glaze on the bottom. Brush the glaze onto your pot with heavy strokes. Glaze is the right consistency when it is the texture of a milkshake. Glaze flows in the kiln. If your pot is painted with variations in the amount of glaze, you will see flow marks. If you want the glaze to look uniform with few flow marks, you must brush the glaze on evenly. It is a matter of preference. Glaze is not like paint, and you cannot mix colors and get a new shade like when you mix paint. Glaze mixes when it melts in the kiln. Simply paint one glaze over the top of the other. It is not easy to predict how glazes will look when they blend, so be open to the surprise. When you paint layers of glaze over each other, keep in mind how many layers you have painted. 3 heavy layers is the maximum. Clean the edge of the glaze bottle and put the lid on tightly when you are finished. Be sure to return your glaze to its assigned place. The final step is to turn your pot over and clean away any glaze dribbles with a damp sponge. Wipe where the pot touches the table and also wipe the bottom edge. Make a smooth line where they meet. I will not fire your pot if there is any glaze on the bottom or the bottom edge. When you get your glazed pot back from the kiln, try to see it with fresh eyes. It may not be what you expected. Hopefully, it is better than what you expected. Good luck to you on your first glazing project.